like I had mentioned earlier, we pride ourselves as a community, Association of Elite Human Resource Professional. We pride ourselves as a community of shameless learners. And every Saturday, every weekend, we get to meet from time to time to learn from experts, from senior leaders in the human resource industry. And this is another Ask the Expert section. Today, we will be talking about an interesting topic, something that every one of us here needs to know, something that we really need to understand. And what's that conversation about? It's pretty much about setting up an HR department from the scratch. Ladies and gentlemen, to take us on this section is a phenomenal, incredible HR professional, one that I respect so much. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet because I'm sure you already know her. But before I introduce the speaker, I'd just like to take you through our core values as an association. Now, our core values our core values are credibility, and as an association, we demonstrate enviable character, authenticity. We are the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that interesting? Responsibility is also part of our core values. Resilience, integrity, empathy, and agility. All of these depict what we represent as an organization. And our vision statement, ladies and gentlemen, is to be the go-to source of competent human resource professionals who redefine. Our mission statement is to create value for human resource professionals and organizations through coaching, mentoring, and research-based learning and capacity programs, which is what we are doing at this very section, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, our cardinal mandate as an association is to bridge the communal gap that exists between human resource professionals of different cadres and to serve as a platform for learning, capacity development, knowledge acquisition, and experience sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, can I see your emojis? Can I see you celebrate the AEHRP? I mean, such a phenomenal association. I mean, reading through the the core values I just read, it says a lot about what we are doing. And you would agree with me that from time to time, our learning section has been top notch. I see you. Hey, Chiamaka, you're joining from Port Harcourt. How is Port Harcourt this evening? Olufunke, I see your emoji. Oh, yeah. Interesting. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for joining this important section. This is a crucial topic, especially for businesses that are basically looking to grow sustainably. And you are aware that human resource forms the backbone of any organization. And it is pertinent for every one of us as human resource professionals to get the foundation right, which is a key to long-term success. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we would explore the fundamental steps involved in building an HR department from the ground up. So whether you are a startup founder, a new HR leader, or someone who is looking to scale HR in an existing organization, this section will provide practical insights to help you navigate the process. Right about now, I see that our speaker is already on this call. She's coming all the way from the United States or wherever she's coming from. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for something. Our flights, landed without hassles. And so, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you don't want to miss out on any part of this section. So grab your notepad, your pen. If you can get a popcorn by the side and something to sip on, maybe juice or wine, get them ready, ladies and gentlemen, because we are in for an interesting ride. Come on, let me see your emojis and your reactions in the comment section. Great. Cabin biscuits. Who is that? Interesting. I mean, yours is just to ensure that you have a good time whilst having this section. Delectable ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be reading out the profile of our phenomenal guest. This is a crucial topic, like I had mentioned, and we need an expert to take us through this section, and there's no other person that matches this section other than the phenomenal Stella Obialor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be reading her profile right away. Stay glued to what I'll be reading, because what I'm seeing is already blowing my mind away. I had mentioned earlier that she's someone I respect so much, and it is such a honor to be moderating this section where she is basically speaking. And this is me doffing my cap, my heart, and my salute to Stella Obialor, the phenomenal HR professional. Ladies and gentlemen, Stella Obialor is a distinguished human resource professional with over 24 years of extensive experience across multiple industries, including manufacturing, print media, hospitality, broadcasting, and technology consulting. She earned an MSc in management from the University of Lagos and holds certifications as a human resource professional, a senior professional in human resources, management consultant, personal development coach, neurolinguistic practitioner, and behavioral change practitioner. Stella is a published author of HR Bootstrapping and the founder of HR Priming with Stella. Our dedication to personal and professional development extend to our roles as a coach, mentor, counselor, facilitator, and people manager, where she is renowned for her positive impact on individuals' lives. She serves as she serves on the board of trustees for the Associate of Elite Human Resource Professionals and lectures at the Lapo Business School and other educational institutions. Stella currently is the Chief Operation Officer at Viisaus Technology Limited, and she is happily married and a proud mother. Ladies and gentlemen, delectable ladies and gentlemen, with a virtual round of applause and a loud virtual ovation, I'd like to be handing over the virtual microphone to the incredible, phenomenal, delectable, the one and only Stella Obialor.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Nice to connect with you all. Nice to connect with you this evening, and it is indeed an honor. When was the last time I took this particular course was in 2021. That was before I converted the trainings into a book, HR Bootstrapping. So it's been since 2021. So what has been happening in the HR space? What has changed between the lessons and the learnings that we acquired in setting up the HR department from scratch then and now? So what has changed? So it's indeed my honor to be with you this evening. And I'm always very, very excited when I'm having to speak on this topic, which is very, very dear to my heart. Okay. And so I want to appreciate you all and just ask you to sit back. I want to make this session as interactive as possible. So I expect you to just, I need engagement. I need participation. So I'm going to try and engage with you, and I need you to reciprocate by participating. I like being hands-on. I'm not a fan of sessions, BB grammar, and you leave, and at the end of the day, you're like, okay, what did I take away from today's class? So that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be doing a lot of questioning. I need to understand. So I need you to drop in the chat box what you hope to take away from today's class. I want to believe not, I don't want to believe that everyone here are newbies in HR. At least we have some experienced ones. So you joining the class today, what was in your mind? What are you hoping to take away from today's class? Let me hear you. If you want to unmute your mic, please feel welcome to do so. Otherwise, just drop it on the chat box and someone should help me read it out. What you hope to gain from today's class.
All right, Ma'am Stella, I will be reading Oluwaseun Kende's comment. He says, to learn new things about the HR space and update my HR processes. Sandra Momo is saying, I want to be able to upskill myself, learn and unlearn. Tiolu is saying, if I'm on the right track with the HR department, I am starting in my organization. We have quite a number of comments here, ma'am. Would you want me to continue or you rather want to go ahead, ma'am? Okay, while I await a response, ma'am, I'll just like to read the other comments. Joy is saying, I'm hoping to gain knowledge, I believe that's what she means there, on how to set up the HR department in an organization. Fantastic, Joy. Informa is saying to have a clear direction on starting HR department. Agbo Sunday is saying to learn how to set up HR department. Interesting. Blessing is saying to learn how to set up the HR department as a HR consultant. Interesting comments here, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it coming. Esther is saying, I personally want to get a robust knowledge about steps and processes in setting up the HR department. I'm sure SOA, you are in for an interesting ride with Madam Stella Obialor. Moshood is saying, what I'd like to take away from the section, the nitty-gritty of setting up an HR unit in a startup with no physical presence at all. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Let's keep the comments coming. Madam Stella, please let me know as soon as you're back to the call so you can take it up from here. I see another interesting comment.
It is saying that I cannot start you say you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh,
I'm unable to.
the technical team will sort that out.
Okay.
Apologies.
Okay.
You can have the floor, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely, ma'am. I can hear you from my end.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So as I was saying, okay, I was able to grab few comments, and one that's really, I'm really intrigued by. Okay, sometimes HR are so interwoven that we often ask who's responsible and accountable for one. Okay, I will be noting some of all these comments down. I'll note some of all these comments. One of the comments that really struck me was how to set up the HR department. If I'm not mistaken, the person said, if you are a one-man mopol, you are the only person in the department. Is that it? Was that what I read? My moderator, help me out. Was that what I read? The
So
person wanted to
absolutely,
know.
you're right on point.
Okay, one man squad. Okay, like I said, we want to make it as interactive as possible, and I'm going to be doing less of the slides and more of the talking. Okay, so for those who had to set up the HR department, what would you say would be your major issue? What would you say would be your major issue in setting up the HR departments? What are the challenges you experience when setting up the HR departments? Do you have anyone who would want to unmute their mic? Is there anyone who would like to unmute, or can you, moderator, read out? So what are the challenges that's been faced by professionals, newbies, new managers in human resources? What are the challenges that you face when setting up the HR department? Now, I understand what you like to take away from today's class. But for those who are how to set up the HR departments, what were the challenges you faced?
Okay, ma'am, I have a few comments here.
All right.
Chiamaka is saying policy drafting. Ifoma is also saying the same thing. Policy drafting was a challenge for me. So I guess they are both the same.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what else? What else? For those who have set up the HR departments, what were your challenges? Aside from policy drafting, so those are the two persons that said policy drafting. Aside from policy drafting, what were your challenges when you were setting up the HR departments?
Okay, ma'am, someone is raising the virtual
Do we have any other
hands.
comments?
Yeah, we have more comments. Someone is saying senior management buy-in. Interesting, Moshuda-san. Senior management buy-in. Especially if it's a one-man business, the one-man motor you had mentioned earlier. Ifoma is also saying organogram setting. Rebecca says organogram setting. Rebecca is saying handbook. Olufunke is saying stakeholders engagement and management, especially executives. Quite a number of comments, full of them, ma'am. Someone is raising the virtual hand and to Yin Thompson.
Please,
I beg
please.
Please go ahead and unmute your device.
Okay, Ilayefa, yes, you have the floor.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yes, okay. I think my major challenge I faced was change management. Having to convince people of, having to convince the staff that, okay, the system is going to change. And then resistance also. So that was one major challenge I faced.
Thank you very much, Ilayefa, for sharing with us. Okay. All right. I've taken notes of this. Now let me share my slide. Interesting. Oh. Just let me know if you're able to see my slide. Let me put it on slideshow. So can you see my slide?
Absolutely, ma'am. I can see your slide from my end. Ladies and gentlemen, please confirm if you can see a slide.
All right. So we're going to be looking at setting up the HR department from scratch, and we want to start from the known to the unknown. So I asked the question, what are the challenges? What is it about the HR departments what are the challenges you face when you're setting up the HR departments? You have just been given this employment letter, and it's usually startup. When there is a startup, it's usually difficult. I can relate, and for those on the call, most people could actually relate that when you are trying to set up HR department for a startup. Now, you are going to be meeting conscious resistance. And you ask yourself, where would this resistance be coming from? Someone mentioned change management. Interesting, change management. And that is just to mention but a few. Change management, and someone said policy drafting. Policy drafting. These are interesting comments. Policy drafting. So the person that says policy drafting, what exactly were your challenges? Was it in drafting these policies, or you drafted the policies and you could not get the buy-in of the management? What precisely were these challenges you talked about? Hello? The two persons said policy drafting. I told you that I want to make it as interactive as possible. So when you talked about policy drafting, what is it about policy drafting? Is it coming up with a particular policy you need as at that time, or struggling with drafting the right policy, or struggling with putting policies in place for different HR functions? Hello, two-person sets policy. Oh. Am I alone on the call? Where are my people? Did I get anyone talk about lack of clear structure, or limited resources, or having to deal with compliance issues, or balancing strategic operations with operational tasks? And then sometimes you had already spent like 4 months, 5 months down the line, and you are wondering, they said, what is she doing, Seth? We don't even know what she's doing. You understand? 4 months down the line, and someone is asking, what exactly is she doing? We don't know. Oh, it's not on slideshow. Let me it's left slideshow. So these are some of the challenges. And then we are going to be, oh, someone's hands was raised up. Oh, someone said management wants me to perform magic. They are always like that. They are always like that. They always want you to perform magic.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Chiamaka. Okay, so for me, it was a cocktail of issues.
Wow.
First of all, I came in from another sector into another sector. So first of all, I had to study that sector. And you come in, and the only thing they probably had at that time was a leave policy that was not fully drafted and a code of conduct that was outdated. So every other policy had to be drafted. Disciplinary policy, SOPs, a lot of things had to be drafted. Performance management system, in fact, down to job descriptions, a lot of things were missing. So I had to start, drafting things from scratch. So if I want to do performance management, I have to draft job description first before we now say, okay, let's start doing performance management. And it was almost like I was 6 months down the line, and management was coming down heavy on me that we have not done this, we have not done that, we have not done this. And I'm like, you guys don't have anything. You don't have anything. And I'm trying but I've tried to, I've gotten somewhere, with all the things, but it was just, then there are some things you have to get their buy-in for. You can't tell people that they cannot.
Hello?
Hello?
Is it my network, or she's breaking up?
Am I breaking up? Am I breaking up? Am I breaking up?
I don't even know if it's my network that is unstable or yours.
I can hear everyone. No, is it my network or your?
Chiamaka, we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
I can hear. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, so it was just a cocktail of issues. Then imposter syndrome too comes more because you are doing everything that's formally you did not have to do. So you're like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Then not having a team to like support you in the drafting of all of this, it was just a lot. It was a lot of issues that came up in the process of drafting it.
All right, thank you very much, Amaka, for sharing with us. And your story is not different from most of the stories that we have heard when setting up the HR departments. So what I did, or what has always worked for me, or what worked for me there, is to compartmentalize it, right? What are the things? This is not just setting up the HR department. They've already given me my employment letter. I've already been employed as the human resources manager for this startup, or the head of HR for this startup. When I joined a particular organization, and yours was good. When you at the point where you are attending interview, and I was supposed to join as the assistant manager or deputy head human resources. And there was one particular person on the call that was just throwing all the questions, the HR questions. I said, okay, this one that is throwing is either the person is the consultant, or this should be my boss. So, okay, the rest were just asking some of these regular questions that have nothing to do with human resources. And this person was just firing me HR questions. So I took note of the person of that particular panelist and a member of the panel, and then I ensured that I was responding and answering the question. Actually, I got a job. I didn't get the job immediately. I even thought perhaps I wasn't selected. I wasn't qualified, and they didn't even reach out to me till after 2 months. Imagine, after 2 months, 2 months after. It's quite a long time. Most of us that do that, please, we have been in that position before, and it's not palatable. When you don't give people feedback on time, you don't even know if to move on or to wait. Because when they reached out to me and I resumed, and guess what? It was in manufacturing. And they showed me an empty office. I had no staff, no HR executive, no HR officer, nothing. Nobody. They just showed me an empty office, and then there were piles and piles and piles of papers. And I was in my mind, I was wondering, what should I do with this? And then I asked them, sorry, please, where are the team? They say, which team? They've sacked everyone. Sacked everyone? What happened? Oh, there was a fraud. So everyone was involved, plus from the head of HR and admin, because it was HR and admin, head of HR and admin got to do with a procurement of generator and stuff, some funny stories. And then because they were all HR and admin officers, perhaps you know how Eve in the Garden of Eden collected the apple and gave to Adam, and Adam ate and he saw the lights. So I guess that was what happened. Their boss was the one that said, I don't know what happened. Somehow, the boss that the person I was supposed to report to was fired. All the executives, nobody, not a single person. So I resumed into an empty office, and the person that handed over, there was someone that held forth for 2 months before I joined. The person that handed over happened to be the executive assistant to the MD. And I didn't understand. So when I asked questions, she gave me laptop anyway. You remember the way my predecessor left, there wasn't time for any handing over. All I had was the laptop. And when I asked Auntie, every question I was asking was met with so much hostility, and I didn't want to understand what was happening. And then for this, is there in the laptop? You can check it yourself. Say, hey. And she's the executive assistant to the MD. And as at then, she was even older. She looked every inch older. She was very, very matured, right? So if any question I ask, is there in the laptop? And then there were papers and papers. And before I could even settle it, there was nothing like any onboarding. Please, how many of you joined organizations and you were onboarded? Because there was no onboarding for me. Onboarding for me was those stacks of paper, the laptop. And before I see Jack Robinson, I saw some guys. They were in their overall. overall, orange color overall, and they brought some invoice. They just brought good afternoon, ma. They just showed me the invoice. They said, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Sign, ma. I said, sign what? I don't even know what is there. You have to sign now so that you can take, they want to take the casement windows out and this thing. I say, I don't, wait, what? I don't understand. What is casement windows? What has that got to do with me? Because it was they were into aluminum fabrication and they were, I didn't, everything was strange to me. So for me, joining the organization, there was nothing, no handing over. So that could be another challenge. Nobody to hand over to. You don't even know where to start from. And they told me, okay, this is your office, recruit your staff. Nothing. So how do I know how many people to bring on board? Now, this is why we're having this conversation. So when I look back, some of the places that I had worked, I wish I could have done some things better. So there are some things you should do when you compartmentalize your role in the department pre-setup, understanding the basic steps in setting up the HR department, understanding your quick wins, understand the HR department planning and staffing, understanding the business process and guidelines for the setup. One, you can see that before, as you can see, I'm a feed fab enthusiast. This garden egg, I can use garden egg sauce to eat rice, I can use it to eat yam, I can use it to eat swallow. So this is like you are putting things together. You want to make a meal, so pre-setup. What do you need for pre-setup, right? Understand the HR business need and the strategic direction. I will tell you this, please. When you resume in a new role, the first thing, yes, you are resuming, is not to go and set the ball rolling like that. Have a meeting with your line manager, whoever the person is. Most times, if you are unfortunate, or let me not use the word unfortunate, if you're unlucky, you won't be given any job description, or you might not be given any job description, but if you are fortunate, you are given job description, you already know these are my expectations, but you still need to sit with the owner of the business. That is, if you are reporting to that person, sit with them to understand the HR need. There will be something, there might be a pain point. You join some organizations, they'll tell you, thank God you are here. I want to have a state of the art performance appraisal. We have not been doing performance appraisal. Then you know that is their pain points. Some people will tell you, no, there's a misalignment of our culture, and what we have, the core values we have in the handbook is different from what we have on our website, is different from what we have on the wall. In fact, I want to build a very nice culture. They are already telling you the things they have. So this meeting with the head, with the owner of the business, or your MD, or your managing partner, or your CEO, whoever it is you're reporting to as the head of human resources, and to set up the HR department, you need to sit with them to understand the business, to understand the strategic direction of the business. If they share with you the strategic direction of the business, this is what we are expecting. You will note it down. Okay, this is a pain point. The person that has informed you that one of the pain points is that they must have performance appraisal. And 4 months down the line, people do not have job descriptions and KPIs. Man, this is a recipe for disaster. Because how do you do it? Because when you're talking about performance appraisal, the first thing, and the moment you understand the processes behind each of the functions, then you don't have a problem. Human resources as a discipline, as a department, as a role, is policy driven. So it's not just you coming up with policies. What are the different functions? You know that there is recruitment. You know that there is learning and development. There is performance management, employee relations. You have exits planning, everything, workforce planning, HR audit. You have some of all this. And for each of the HR function, there are processes. After this comes this. Before this is this. After this comes this. Please ensure that you understand the HR function. If you are just an HR executive for 2 years and you were fortunate at the interview and they gave you the role of the HR manager, you see, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with it. Most of us transition that way. We transition from being executive one day or HR business partner one day and to HR assistant. Some people, they were lucky, they had a career path for them, and then eventually they become head of human resources. But just supposing that wasn't in place for you. 1 minute you were HR business partner, the next minute you are head of HR, you are HR manager. We are all on the same level. So the koboko they use for us, or the stick, is the same one they are using for you, because you're already at the strategic level. Nobody is going to start spoon feeding you. They expect you to set the ground running. So the first thing first, have a meeting with the owner of the business, understand their strategic direction. It might be you are resuming in a new role. Always look out for their pain points. And that is how you start scoring your 30, 60, 90 days in office. I will tell you this. You do not go to internet and copy a 30, 60, 90 days in office plan and start implementing in your organization. You need to first itemize the needs. What do they need? What are the things that are in place? So you have had this meeting with your line manager. Take note of the insights you raised, you generated from that meeting. Then have a one-on-one with the different departments. You are for everyone. Remember, human resources, your role is not to your role is not to take the job of the line managers. Your role is to help them become HR managers, people managers. They will help you do your job. So have a meeting with each of the heads of departments. If you are very lucky, you have a very lean staff. Some people work with just 30, 25 staff. You can meet with everyone within a week. So you meet with them, understand, okay, how is it being like in this place? Interview them, have a one-on-one. What are their pain points? What are their HR needs? Now you have gathered the HR need from the staff. You will get some things will pop out. You will gather the HR needs from the business. Remember, one thing about this profession, it's not you, oh, I love people, I'm a people manager, and because of that, I want to be in human resources. Oh, I'm so emotional. But I used to feel for people. I love people a lot. Everybody when I'm always around people. Hey, if you want people to love you, and in fact start selling ice cream. No, that is not human resources. It's actually a thankless job, because most times what we do is to support the business. Now, how do we support the business? We want to recruit people. We want to train them. We want to motivate them and get them to do what they have been paid to do. So you have had a meeting with the business owners. You have had a meeting with the staff. So you are beginning to see, okay, this one wants XYZ. This person wants ABC. Now, how can you align them both? It is in that you are able to come up with, what are the things I can actualize within 30 days? What are the things that can spill into the next month and then into 2 months? What are the things that can spill into 3 months? And that is how you come up with your 30, 60, 90 days plan. You do not just you don't resume a role and immediately they are telling you, go and bring me your 30, 60, 90 days plan. On top of what? What is the foundation with which you are building such? Or you are going to the internet. Okay, this one says, the first one, set policies. Supposing there are policies in place already. Is that their pain points? You have to meet with these two persons. You understand the business. How do this business, how do they make money? Which particular department is responsible for making the bulk or the revenue generating part of that company? Which department is that? How do they do what they do? And then you have to know who is sitting as the head of affairs of that particular business unit. That business unit is your cash cow. Is the person struggling? Oh, this is last time they said we are waiting for the new head of HR to resume. I've been on the staff since the past 4 months. I was supposed to have this. I'm only working with a lean staff, and my people are falling ill. Those are already issues that you need to immediately deal with. So you don't just jump, you resume in a place. Oh, okay, you have to share with us a 30, 60, 90 days plan. You tell them, oh, definitely. I will, after I have had one-on-one with all the different departmental head, and we have had a conversation. So do not just jump, or don't be a stereotype. I used to tell people this: limit all the copy and paste that you do. Limit it to the barest minimum. It's not going to help. Now, it is a guide, but do not sit on it and use it, verbatim. So when you have been able to align both, right, then you will be able to draft your 30, 60, 90 days in office. Always look out for the quick wins, the things that you could easily do, and you are getting it off your plate, right? So what next is the setup? So the pre was what we just did. All those meetings needs to hold. You don't just go and draft anything. What are you drafting? You came to my organization. What works for me? My own 30, 60 days, 90 days in office might not work for your organization, because you need to know the life cycle of that particular business. Are they at the best stage? Is it a startup? What are the characteristics of organizations that are startups? So how do I play in that field? Is the organization at a growth stage? They've been existing for like perhaps 5 to 10 years. Yeah, a bit of a struggle, but they are still fine. Are they at the maturity stage? Look, all those policies you are coming up with, they don't even need it. They already have. Just come and run with it. Somebody just take over. Everything is in place. Sometimes they don't even need you to. You will meet with cautious resistance when you're even trying to introduce something. Because they said this new one, we got a consultant that we paid 50 million naira to come and put this, to come up with this stuff. They don't need you. They don't need you to come and change it. They need you to run with it. So know where you are playing. Know the life cycle of the organization you find yourself, to know how to relate with them, or how to offer your services to them. So the setup. So and as I was saying, is it maturity? After maturity is the decline. Are they bringing you on board to come and perform miracle? The organization is already at a decline. They are owing salaries. At the point when you were joining, you didn't do your background check. You were not aware that they usually owe salaries. That salaries get paid every 2 months and not every month. And they told you everything fancy. You didn't there was no background check, nothing. Always do background checks. Find out. There was an organization that invited me, right? I was right there in the elevator. I was saying, wow, the perks and benefits, this one is Ogbonge. And I was right there in the elevator, and I happened to be, there was a young guy that was there. How are you? I'm fine. He doesn't even know I was going to come on. You work here? Oh, well, obviously. Oh, okay, I'm a visitor. Is he like in this place? That sign is already a red flag for me. I say, why are you signing? I'm trying to join. You are trying to join. As what? I say, HR officer. HR officer. Do they need HR officer there? I think there are about 5 HR officers. No, they are bringing me as another officer. What they perhaps need is an HR manager to come and tell them that they should be paying salaries on time. I say, you don't even pay salaries on time. I don't joke with money. You don't pay salaries on time. I say, what do you mean they don't pay? I think people don't have HR manager. We don't have, we don't have. We are waiting for them to come and to waiting for them to recruit the HR manager, so that instead of them to, sorry, madam, sorry, it's not as if we need the HR manager to tell them they should be paying salaries on time. A lot of nonsense, and because these people, they are from it's actually a Chinese company, and all of them when they were thinking, and guess what? It's like, imagine this person doesn't even know me. It was the first time we're meeting, and the person was all over. He was saying to me, that was too much information. Me, I didn't know. I told them, I moved on. I told them something happened. I'm unable to join them. I said, God will not come from heaven to come and tell me this. Holy Spirit, you will send somebody. You said, let me stay where I am. What? And that was why I did not join that organization then. So always do your own background check. When do they pay salaries? Now, when we have done all those, the pre and now the setup, carry out HR audit. It's just like any other audits. You know, our alliances in the organization, human resources, we have internal alliances, we have external alliances. Internal alliances, they might be the different departments, and the major ones are the audits. These audits, they can audit anything, right? Finance, they are also our internal alliances. So carry out the HR audit. Now you have done all those. You have planned your 30, 60, 90 days in office. How do you actualize it? How do you bring everything to, how do you now, all those things that you have listed, I'm going to do this between 30 days. Oh, this one will be next week. This one will be this. Okay, now do you have the resources? Have you carried out an audit? What's your own HR audit? What is your capacity? Or you are like me, resume to an empty office, nothing. You are expected to recruit. So who is the next person? Who is the person you're going to bring on board? That shouldn't be the time for you to go and for you to bring on board. Oh, this my brother's wife's son. That he's been out of job. You are bringing the person on board. That will be headache. You need someone who is experienced. So you can carry out your HR audit. With everything I have in front of me, will I be able to actualize this alone? Most often, it is not possible. We have some people groaning under the weight of working alone. Have you ever had to drop on a platform? Please, there is are you interested? You could have virtual assistant. That is if you are a one-man moko. So what we are trying to say is find out what is the place you currently are. I was going to join an organization one day, and the mandate I was given was that I should fire everyone there. Come on. These people want to end my career that I've just started, that I'm still enjoying. I'm taking it in big sizes. Can you ask me to join a place and I should fire? No, it was almost everyone. There were about how many people in the HR department? They were about 11, and I was asked to retain only 2. How in the heavens do you want me to join a place and I'm laying off how many? I said, all right. They want to use me to clear their mess. And then I'll now be in the news for the wrong reason. Who does that? I don't even know. You want me to come and inherited beef? No. So I need to,
Ladies and gentlemen, you would agree with me that so far the section has been an insightful one. I mean, fortunately, the network just, of course, the network will always do its thing anyway. Maybe the network is also trying to set up its own virtual HR department, as it were. But then, while we await our speaker, I'd just like to read through some of the comments. But then again, what has stood out for you so far during the course of this conversation? Olabi, your comment is just so hilarious. HR seen as alpha and omega, changing the whole organization within a short moment, especially highly populated Gen Z workforce. Indeed. Resume to fire, informer. Oh my days, hilarious comments here. Ladies and gentlemen, what has stood out for you so far during the course of this conversation? Again, Madam Stella shared quite an interesting experience with us, laughable, hilarious, and I mean, I can only imagine what she went through during this time. But then again, hang in there. We have quite a lot in store. I mean, she has quite a lot in store for us. Joy, I'm just going to read your comments. Organization most time forget that HR are humans and can't perform magic. Exactly. It takes a process for an organization to express changes. Absolutely. I see that people are already exchanging contacts. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things you should do whilst on this call is to also network. So whilst you're learning, ensure you try as much as possible to network. I see numbers exchange already happening there. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Sandra is saying most private organization is so known for firing. Interesting. I guess you are sharing out of your experience. Wow. Wow. Okay. Quite a number of comments here. I'm going to read Ademola's Adebola's comments. Adebola says, as organization, they carry out background checks on potential employees. So should potential employees carry out background checks? Absolutely spot on. Madam Stella mentioned that it is imperative to carry out your own background check before joining any organization. I mean, that would help you sort of understand the environment you're joining in and help you make an informed decision if you're to continue on that path or not. Joy is saying that I have learned so far that it is important to do background check. You see this background check thing, it is super imperative to carry out before joining any organization. A friend of mine would say that you don't want to go from frying pan to fire. Okay, I mean, oh, gift is saying story of my life. Interesting comment right there. Interesting comment. Madam Stella, thank you. I see you have rejoined the call. I guess that's a technical issue. Please, the technical team
Yeah,
to okay, great. Glad to have you
I
back,
was
man.
just, I was just, I was flung off like, pew, right? So as I was saying, this background check is always very, very important. Do not take it for granted. Just the way they are, they do background check on you as well. Sometimes they do background check before they even give you your letter. They are not doing the background check like asking. You don't directly go to these organizations and start making inquiries when you have not made them the offer. Let them resume with you before you do that. Okay? We've had some persons, they make, they carried out background checks on them and they end up not recruiting them, right? They end up not hiring them, but you have already exposed them to the organization that this person is leaving very, very soon. You understand, right? So please, part of the things you shouldn't do not go do background check. You could secretly do that. Check them out on social media. Check them out in the places where they are at work. So just the same way, after all those things that person said to me, I knew that place, no way. Like you said, do not go from fry pan to fire. Recall we said the HR department is driven by policy. Remember, most of our WhatsApp platforms, whenever someone drops something on the platform, like a case study, and the next thing someone will ask is that, what is your policy on XYZ? Is that not it? It's usually the first question the person will ask. What's your policy on it? So what works for my organization might not work for you. So that's why I said always be very, very wary of copy and paste. So what works for company A might not work for you. You understand? So with every of the HR function, ensure their policies to guide you so that you can always refer back to the policies. We'll soon be getting to that policy. So you can always refer back to the policy before anything is done. Put the policy in place. And please, every one of us should learn how to draft a policy. Come on. The moment you have the framework, you start embedding all the parameters, right? You know that the policy must have the dates. It must have, if it was a policy that was in place before, if it's a new policy, and then there must be the objective of the policy. Why are we putting this policy in place? Is to prevent people from eating at their desk, right? And then what happened? The scope of the policy. This policy is applicable to everyone in this organization. And then the policy owners, the methodology, see the policy document, the moment you know all those parameters, you know all those things to use, that's going into the policy, like the headers. You don't have any problem. Anybody can just draft any policy. You can take a sample of a particular policy, and then you can tease out yours using the headers. Because policy objective will always be policy objective number one. It should be the number one thing. Aside from the intro, having the policy owner, and then authorizing approval, the date it was enacted, it was approved on this date, and then getting the signature of the owner of the business, or the MP, or the CEO, whoever, get them to sign it. And the next thing is the policy objective. The objective of this policy is to this. Objective means, why are you coming up with this type of policy? Is to ensure free and fair recruitment procedures in this organization. Is to ensure that there is equal employment opportunity. And at the scope, it is who is scope is talking about the eligibility. Everyone. We are all the staff of this place. And then we have the methodologies. And then you have, start breaking them down. Right? So ensure that all your functions, all your HR functions, you have policies. And policies, some things could just come up that will require policy to be put in place. So when I joined my organization, that was the same. I joined the organization 3 weeks later, there was pandemic. And I was told to draft a work from home policy because we are all going to go home. They were going to be locked down. I had never seen work from home policy before, not anywhere. I had to quickly come up with one. I later went back to look at that work from home policy. Of course, we had to review it because my organization then, up until last year, my boss said it is a consulting firm, so he needs you to be present. But now we have gone back to hybrid and remote, and so we have some of our staff that work hybrid, some work remote, and there's some work in person, right? So policy is very, very important. You know why? It will identify you, not just you, even the other staff, like those people that are coming. I recall I've worked in an organization before, and they had a branch in South Africa. South Africa is very, very open with their gay laws. But this is the mother company, Nigeria. So we are having some of them coming over here. I needed to share with them, come on, it's okay for you to practice that over there, right? But when you come here, you have to be very careful. You can't come and, the law forbids you to, the law is not forbidding you from openly, moving about dressed like the other gender. But what the law fronts against is when it forbids you getting married. So just be very, very careful. And then the culture, the culture does not accommodate it. So aside from the law, 80% of, this country or this part of the world, they frown against same-sex marriage. So I need to let them understand that when you're coming here, even you're practicing it, asking someone out, the same sex. So when we had them coming for, they came to the head office for visits, I had to give them heads up. You understand? Because we don't want any issues. We don't want any trouble. We are very peace loving. When you go back to your place, go ahead and practice it. So you need to let them know the policy. Otherwise, you will be in the news for the wrong reason. So sexual harassment, there are so many policies, not just sexual harassment, workplace harassment, any form of harassment. If you've heard of vicarious liability, someone else sexually harass another person, the person sue the company, and you ask myself, why should he sue the company? If you sue the man, no, it's called vicarious liability. Do you have a policy in place that says that when you see someone and say, you are wasting and all those stuff, it is sexual harassment, or you're looking at somebody in a way that makes the person uncomfortable, it's sexual harassment. You should define it, your policy. When it's policies like workplace harassment, like disciplinary issue, define it. Let it be clearly defined. You don't step into people's personal space. It's not, except the person. You don't just go and start hugging people anyhow. Come on. It's not allowed. So do you have a policy in place? And when was last time you had a policy workshop so that people are aware that this policy exists and this is the content? Or when was last time you reviewed some policies that you have in your organization? Because some policies will still expire now. So policy is very, very important for you to have it in place. So now, how won't the person sue the company? You have the sexual harassment policy, it's right there in the Google Drive, or it's right there in a book. People are not even aware of it. They're not even aware of what you are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. They just know out of for moral reasons, they're not supposed to do this. So they were not aware, or they claim not to be aware. Because when the chip is down, they're going to see, is this useless HR? You didn't even advise us properly.
Interesting one so far, ladies and gentlemen. The network is always wanting to show itself, but we will be fine. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for engaging. Thank you for sending in your comment. Just to notify us that this section has been approved by the HRCI for 3 recertification units. So to claim your credits, you can request for your certificate of attendance through the link that was shared earlier. I'm going to reshare the link again so that you can request for your certificate. Interesting conversation. We're hoping that Madam Stella would join us again. Yeah, I can see your comments already. Stella, your fire emoji, it says a lot. It says a lot. Abigail, very interesting training. I agree with you. Absolutely. Sunday says incredible. That's just what it is. That's the best way to describe what Madam Stella is sharing with us. I think she is back on the call. Madam Stella, if you're back on the call, you can have the floor.
Yes. I don't know. Network. Take time, oh. Let us invoke any God you serve, invoke them so that the network will be stable. Because I'm oscillating between 2 networks, trying to ensure that we do this. So talking about the policy, when the policies are in place and you are not sharing this policy, they are not aware. Please, when you have some of these policies or you review them, send an email and get them to acknowledge. Send an email to all staff, get them to acknowledge. Some people could tell you that, well, I didn't see it, though. I didn't see it. Get them to acknowledge it. If possible, print it out and get them to sign up on it, sign that they received it and they understood the content, so that when the chips are down, they won't say, I was not aware. They didn't tell me now. It was just a friendly hug. It was just a this. She was crying and I went to hold her. And the person that went to hold, he said, no, when you held me, something was choking me. What was that? What about hug is that? And the person felt offended. The person was traumatized because you have sexually harassed the person all in the name of hugging. When I'm crying, who asked you to hug me? Are you my husband or are you my boyfriend? Why should you come and hug me? You understand? And then the person sued the organization. It's called vicarious liability. You are liable for that thing that the other person that you are responsible for, the crime of the other person, whoever it is you're responsible for. But you can indemnify yourself or the business if you put all those things in place and you're able to defend, you're able to tell you're able to defend and show that hey, we have sexual harassment policy and we spelled it out. Hey, that shall not do this, that shall not do this. Workplace harassment, we spelled it out, that shall not do this, that shall not do this. And we even told them the sanction, the implication of doing it. So our hand is not there. Yes, she will lose that case in court. That won't be a case of vicarious liability anymore. They will, because you can prove beyond reasonable doubt that the organization did something about it. Then HR department staffing, 1-man mopol, they want you to do XYZ. Everything you have listed, 30, 60 days, 90 days, there is no way you would have been able to do it. And you need someone, you need support. You have different WhatsApp platforms. There are some people, I need a job, please volunteer your services. You never can say. That might be a step to, entering the organization. Volunteer to be a virtual assistant. There are so many people that are out of job. There are still some persons that, oh my goodness, is telling me that my internet connection is unstable. The rain is falling at this end. So let us pray. It will be well. Right? So as I was saying, the HR department staffing, how do we have what it takes? Do you have the resources? Virtual assistants, you can jump on the platform. Are you in need of a virtual assistant to join your team? From where you are still working for this organization as a virtual assistant. My dear, you can add it to your resume. Volunteers, you can add it to your resume. You don't just stay back. I'm here to get a job. Offer your services. You're here to get a job, but you are good with metrics and analytics. Offer your services. You're here to get a job, but you are very, very good at deploying performance appraisal. Then offer your services. Volunteer and add it to your resume. Volunteer projects on performance appraisal, performance management, volunteering. Right? HR planning. You know how you plan? This is where the company is. This is where it's going. Remember, you now have the strategic direction of the business. You know where the business is going. So how do you bridge that gap? What are the steps you put in place to take the company from point A to point Z? Then you develop standard for the business. Standard for the business is all those your SOPs, all those. I don't mean for the human resources, for the business, right? You now have all those policies you have put in place. Come, by all means, please, let's have a handbook. Let's have a handbook. I remember when I joined my organization, my line manager rejected my handbook 19 times. It shocked you? 19 times. I kept on sending it to reject it. He asked it, and it wasn't, and then I was making a mistake. I didn't know what he wanted exactly. He told me he wanted a handbook that is Gen Z in nature. Hey, how does Stella Obialor produce a handbook that is Gen Z in nature? I'm not even Gen Z. I'm in Gen Z in my mind, in my heart, I'm a Gen Z. But my age is not Gen Z. Now I'm working in an organization that they have a lot of Gen Z, and they want people to produce handbook that is Gen Z. What am I supposed to do? Instead of me to ask a question, I'll do it this way, I'll send. No, this is not what I want. And I wasn't even asking, exactly what do you want? And then when I borrowed myself brain and I asked the question, how do you want it? So it's like, it seems I was going round and round in circles, thinking. He said it's too wordy, it's too text, and everything. I said, okay, too wordy, too text. And I removing text. Oh, what is happening? He's losing his content. Hey, what do I do? I didn't even know he wanted something that was visually appealing. So our handbook is in form of a PowerPoint presentation. It's not a regular handbook. And there's no way you will pick our handbook. You will love the content. There are graphics. It's lovely. By the time we're done, I calculated the number of times that I got a pushback, 19 times. But I was able to deliver. Finally, 19th time, I delivered a handbook that was Gen Z in nature. So know what the business needs. Know the type of language. Know how to communicate with the business owner and who is at the helm of affairs. If not, everything you'll be doing, you'll be meeting conscious resistance. When you come up with this policy, get the buy-in of the stakeholders. You can't just come up with this policy. They're not listening to me. They're not implementing it. No way. Send it to them. Send it to all the managers. Send it to all your line managers, those in the SMTs. Them for their inputs. Ask them for what is, look at this policy. What should we add? What should we remove? So we are all in it together. And then get them to ensure that there are people, when the person you have given this person something to hold, the person won't be able to steal it because I've given you for safekeeping. So that is what you should do. So do not come back and say, oh, I couldn't get them to implement it. Get them to sign off on it. Get them to accept it. Get them to review and add their comments. We all, members of the SMT, we are owning this policy together. You are not the only one. get their buy-in, get their input. You don't just lift a policy or lift a handbook from another organization and try to enforce it on them, right? So develop standard for the business, SOP for HR managers. Then you are doing that, then look at HR audits. This is the comprehensive method of objectively and systematically verification of current practices, documentations, policies, procedures that are prevalent in the HR system for the organization. That is it. You are carrying out the audits. And then, of course, we talked about the departmental staffing. And of course, HR as a policy-driven department, these are just the explanations again. And then the HR planning, SOPs for the HR department. And then it might be working in a place. They do not have HR software in place. Now, that is not your 30 days plan. That might be your 90 days plan. Your 90 days plan. And then how do you come up with HR software? You need to first defend that you are spending so much time and resources going manual. Not that in this present day and age, everybody I know, they are all using software. No. You need to calculate this number of times you are spending, and then the number of errors that comes with practicing manual. The number of time you are spending doing all this could be used into other strategic tasks. So having an HRI system in place is nice, but drop on the platform. There are some very, very high end, and there are some that are very, very affordable. But is it a HRIS? Is it a software? It's also a software. So long as the software can help out with payroll, performance appraisal, even leave management, it's not bad. If you do not have a software that manages recruitment, then you can just carry out the recruitment yourself. Then this thing about HR. So please drop on the chat box. Who should be responsible for payroll? When I mean responsible, who? This thing about payroll, putting all these things together, the payroll, which desk is it sitting? Is it HR or finance? Let me read your comments in the comment section. HR or finance, who is responsible for payroll? Because we find a lot of, you are just joining this organization, you're already quarreling with the chief finance officer. You're already quarreling with the chief finance officer because, okay, I'm reading comments. HR, both. Finance, but must be approved by HR. Okay. Both. Compensation and benefit. That's the arm of human resources that deals with and compensation and benefit. Comp and ben. Finance HR provides data. HR, because HR has the necessary data. Finance pays, but HR processes it. HR works with the finance department. Absolutely. There must be a collaboration between human resources and finance. Have a meeting where mine starts and end. My own ends here. Yours, you can take it over. But you people forgot audit in between. Haven't you worked in organizations where you have to first send to audit when audits okays it before it goes to finance? Well, I have worked in it doesn't just go straight to finance. It goes through audit everything. Thank you very much. Somebody is helping me to draw on the screen. Are you enabling multiple people to share screen? Please, if you are the one helping me to draw some stuff on the screen, please kindly erase. It's very, very lovely. I don't know whether you are drawing Batman or Superman. Thank you very much. It's very nice. So please, HR, you don't join an organization. The first thing, you're already picking quarrel. You don't join an organization. The next thing, you're already fighting. You're already fighting with the finance. No, you're not supposed to be the one in charge of HR instead of payroll. It is HR department. Hey, collaborate. You want to be the one to process payroll, no problem. If you want to be the one to process payroll, no problem. I will share with you the data. But make sure that the data you are sharing is accurate. Share it as at when due. When finance said we are going to pay salary by 26th, and they said share all the information, including overtime and the rest by 20th. Please let your 20 be 20. You don't go back and say, oh, sorry, please. I missed out on someone. There is Mr. Lagbaja joined at so. I forgot to add his name. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, you don't have, there is no room for that. You don't go to the bank and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Sir, please forgive me. This is 100,000. I mistakenly added 100 to it. And it became 1 million. Please have mercy. There are some departments that the error can be very, very monumental. The error can be very, very tragic. So you need to be very careful. So if you must have an HRI system in place, ensure it is able to help you calculate payroll. But there are some people that are so very good with Excel. You can actually, come up with have these functions and the formulas in Excel. And then if you want to do the manual, see, if you look at where the company is at the moment, so you are at the startup stage and you want to introduce a HR software that is more than the salary of everyone in the organization. In fact, the HR software is more than the revenue you are generating. Come on, know at what point to introduce what. So the post setup, we have the HR workforce audit, we have the role profiling, we have the manpower planning, we have the standard operating procedures for the other departments. You have the performance management system, we have the learning and development, we have the rewards and benefits, then again, the HR system, and then the company handbook. It depends on how you want, it depends on when you want it to be. So the workforce audits, now the organogram, these are part of the conversation you have when you join. You want to see the organogram, you want to even see where you are sitting, right? You know you report to the MD, but is there a dotted reporting line to the head of strategy? And are there people that have dotted reporting line to some other persons? Right? So you must carry out the workforce audit is to look at the organogram. With this department needs 7 people to function. If this department needs 7 people to function, they only have 3. How are they doing it? They're overwhelmed. And then you are already noticing it in your the reports that you're chunking out. A particular department, you're seeing that the level of absenteeism coming from that place is very, very high. The level of absenteeism is very, very high. And all you are doing is collecting data. What are you doing with the data you are collecting? We should all go and perfect our metrics and analytics so that you're not just sending data. You're not just sending data that is describing what is happening. Yes, 17 people came late. 14 people were sick. You are just reporting that. What is your line manager doing with the reports? And in the course of having conversation, request for the type of information or the type of feedback or review or report that he wants to receive from you. Does he want you to be sending weekly reports, or would it be monthly report? What should form the base of the report you send on a weekly or a monthly basis? So the workforce of the audit, you have looked at your organogram. During the conversation, that first conversation, organogram, you must be shown or be given the company organogram so that you know when we are talking about recruitment, you know where to add resources, or where to reduce. Then role profiling. Remember, this person have said to you that this particular performance appraisal is a pain point for the organization. That means between your first to the second month, there should be a role profiling. The task, the duty, the skills, the personality, are they matching? Do we have a round peg in a square hole or a square peg in a round hole? So this role, do we have the resources, and what are the competencies of the people?
Wow. Network again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're not tired of learning. I mean, it's still getting interesting. Yeah. So please, just to remind us, the All right, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the network thing, it seems it's happening everywhere. I was almost out of the. The network is a startup network. Indeed, they need to set up their HR structure, right? So, Chima, I see your comment there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Please do well to request for your certificates, because this section has 3 HRCI recertification units. I'm going to be resharing the link with everyone on the call.
It is really I don't understand. That devil is a liar. This one, I must finish this. I must finish it today. I must finish it today.
We're loving your energy. Thank you.
Yes, so hey. So let me go back and share. Okay. It happens like that. So it's because it's raining at my end. It's because it's raining at my end. My sincere apologies. Which one am I sharing now? Okay, let me share. Okay, I'm here. Go to slideshow. All right. So as I was saying, the role profiling, it's very, very important. I'm not talking about the person profiling, the role. You know, you have the organogram, the different roles. And with each of the roles, remember when you are sending out vacancies, you need this person to have 3 years.
Interesting. Ajay, I see your comment. Network maintains peace and composure. Network, please. If only the network has ears. I mean, the network would definitely understand our pain points at this point. Prayers up for the network, ma'am. Interesting. Network, we are chosen. Who are you? Hilarious stuff in the comment section. Well done, guys. It just goes to say that we are actually following through the learning section. And yes, indeed, prayers up for the network. We are chosen. Network, who are you? Interesting. I mean, things like this are bound to happen given the situation with our country, as it were. So please, guys, so far, what has stood out for you in this conversation? Madam Stella has shared quite a lot with us. I mean, interesting one, you would agree with me. So yeah, I see that comment here. Peace. Thank you for that comment here. Thank you. Please, let's keep the comment coming. What has stood out for you so far? What would you be taking home from tonight's section? I mean, some of you who had mentioned that one of your expectation is to see how you can sort of get the management buy-in into your HR structure you're trying to implement. Have you been able to, so far, have you been able, as the conversation, been able to address your expectation? For those of you who had struggled with policy drafting so far, has the section been helpful? Please do well to share your comments. Oh yeah. Gift. I see your comment. Something I'm going to pay 500K to learn. Network, be very careful. Indeed. And that's the interesting thing about the AEHRP. All of these learning sections we are getting, I mean, at no cost. Ladies and gentlemen, this is phenomenal. I mean, if your hands are not so busy, please give a virtual round of applause to the leadership team of the AEHRP for always being intentional about bringing up interesting conversations to help us expand our knowledge base, our horizon as HR professionals. Please give a virtual round of applause to the leadership. Wow, we are so honored. I mean, this is impacts. Impact is not beyond all of this. I mean, like, we see the impact, and this section alone is so much Thank you so much to the leadership of the AEHRP. Yes, I see your emojis. I see your virtual round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the leadership. We are saying thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Fantastic. Continuous learning is our DNA. Absolutely. I totally agree. Continuous learning is our DNA. And we are proud to say that we are a community of shameless learners. We're not ashamed of learning. We keep learning daily. Oh, thank you so much, Madam Stella. We see you. Thank you for, staying put despite the whole network shenanigans. Thank you so much. I'll be handing over the virtual microphone to you.
Yes, so don't worry, we shall do it. Nigeria is happening to us right now. We shall overcome. Yeah. So let's move to manpower planning. It's all parts of looking at that same organogram. Remember the conversation you have had with your line manager at the beginning when you joined? Look at that, look at the organogram, and then look at the manpower planning. And then SOP for different departments. See, one thing, it is here for a reason. You are not responsible for SOPs for the other departments, but you are responsible for guiding the line managers into coming up with SOPs for their various departments. It's like SOP for dummy. In this particular department, how do they function? As such that when there is a joiner, they can easily give the SOP to the new person joining their department during the orientation and onboarding. I repeat, you are not responsible for coming up with SOP. You're only responsible for SOP for HR departments. So the SOP for the other departments gets the line managers to come up with their own SOPs. Let them write it down. And now you remember that they said the pain point of this organization is performance management, how to put the performance management system in place. How many of the line managers have been involved in performance management in the past? You discover that there were very, very few of them, right? Most of them are new managers. So they have not been engaged in performance appraisal before, but you want to put that in place. You are not even training them. The number one thing is to have the business goal and have it cascaded down. Let everyone have their job descriptions and their KPIs. I will tell you this, HR managers, HR people on the call, it is not in your duty to develop and KPIs for everyone in the organization, but you can identify a KPI when you see one. You can tell that this is a KPI and this is a job description. That is your own work. And because you know how to identify or to tease out KPI from a job description, you can teach the line managers how to do same, so that they are able to tease out KPIs for each of the roles. So because everybody already have job descriptions, but do they all have KPIs? If you yourself, as a HR manager, you do not know how to set KPIs, you do not know how to tease out KPIs, it's difficult for you. Or you go, time to hire, that, and then you lift it, time to hire, and drop it on the person's, for your colleagues. Time to hire. Is that all? How long does it take for you to hire this person? It should be within 3 months. Put it there. You don't just go to the internet and see time to hire for recruitment KPI, time to hire, and you lift it and drop it there. Your KPI is time to hire. What does that mean? You do a lot of copy and paste. You don't even understand what you're talking about. I'm giving you 3 months. You should close out on this hiring within so and so. Each of those KPIs, go and find out the meaning. You not just lift, copy and paste. So ensure that everyone have their job description and they have their KPIs and there is an understanding. So with performance appraisal, if you do not know how to implement, for God's sake, go and learn. When I joined my organization, I was informed that they do not want, they were using balance scorecard. They said they don't want to use balance scorecard anymore. And where I was coming from, we're using management by objective. They don't even want to see it. They said they want to use OKR. And I tell you this, for the first time in my career, after 20 years in human resources, I heard about OKR for the first time in 2020. To be sincere with you, I had not heard of it before. I don't even know. And I was told all the big tech companies in the world, they all use OKR. I said, OKR, what's that? You don't know OKR? I thought you were a seasoned HR. Calm down, calm down. OKR. I'm used to balance scorecard. I'm used to performance management by objective. But not to worry. Can I circle back on this by next week? Yes, please. I said, okay. And I reached out to, I think it was Kofiemi Ajayi. And I reached out to him and said, hey, please, you are good with performance appraiser. I was asked to administer and to deliver OKR. We say, oh wow, OKR, okay. Do you know I had to pay to learn it? And then I came back to tell them, okay, it's not bad after all. And I was able to implement it. I didn't sit back and say, no, balance scorecard is more strategic. I didn't try to force them to swallow what they do not want to eat. They wanted OKR, and I gave them OKR. Internet is your friend. Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend. Leverage any way and anyhow you can get all this information. Please, do not stop learning. Be a shameless learner. It doesn't matter. If who knows OKR, it is Herude, who I know I'm talking of it, our years in human resources. I'm older in age when it comes to HR, but this guy is fantastic with OKR. Please, by all means, mentor me. It's called reverse mentoring. If I know that Stephanie is the one that is good with metrics and analytics, please come and mentor me. If I know that Michael Ogu is a pro when it comes to talent management, please, Oga, mentor me. How can I put a fantastic talent management process in place? Do not be ashamed to ask for help. And please desist from this habit of only reaching out to people only when you need help. Oh, send me these templates. Give me this. And you say this person is your mentor. That's not a mentor. You are even tormenting the person. You yourself, you are now tormenting the mentor. No, that's not it. That's not mentorship. That's not mentoring. You're not even giving anything back in return. I'm not talking of in tangible terms. You're not investing in the person's emotional bank account. So how can you spend the currency? When you talk about learning and development, have a skill gap analysis. So it's not just that one of the managers is telling you, it is my turn to go to LBS. It is your turn to go to LBS to do what? Is it for which of them? Is it for the advanced? Is it for SMP or the AMP or which one? What are you going there for? So all those things, you ensure that when you don't just fly left and right in circles. Ensure that you pick each of these ones. What have I done about this? What have I done about this? What am I going to do about this? How will I be able to actualize this? When it comes to learning and development, it's a skill gap analysis. Remember, you did your role profiling. You have realized that these people here, they need this particular skills. Oh, the line manager has comfort. Remember, you have not done performance appraisal. Oh, you might be lucky. During the last appraisal, they did mention that this person needs this training here. And then you put all this together. And what do you understand by training? Is it just learning and development? Do you come up with learning sessions for the organizations or for the leadership? You come up with learning sessions for them. You encourage departmental learning sessions. You come up with company-wide learning sessions, and at the end, you are issuing certificates. See, sample of certificate can be gotten anywhere. Your issue certificates, you are coming up with something. Those are what we count for you for as achievements. You are encouraging knowledge sharing session within department by departments. And people are coming up with testimonials that, I was able to learn this, I was able to learn it because of the initiative you have put in place. All those initiatives, all those ones are going to count as your quick wins. So employee relations. When have you been able to conduct a survey? Now, another thing, conduct a survey within the first 3 months of joining to feel the pulse of the organization. Let them come back to you. You don't just come and start introducing perks and benefits, rewards and benefits. Let them come back. Let them come back to tell you how they want to be rewarded. So what works for a Gen Z might not work for a baby boomer. Let them tell you, and they can come bring all these things together. How do you communicate? Do you have like a suggestion box when you're having your town hall meeting? Do you have a basket before you enter the hall where people can drop their comments or inquiries, and then you're gathering all those papers and you're opening them to start to read out people's suggestions, because not everyone might want to speak during town hall meeting. You have the survey. What do you do with the insight that was generated from the survey? Did you put it in a dashboard format, in a fancy you use PowerPoint to come up with this nice looking dashboard, and you're sharing with them? This is what they have said. This is what you said you need. Yes, we have heard you. We might not be able to actualize everything. We might not be able to implement anything, but we have heard you. Let them know it is not exercise in futility, so that when next you are telling them to say, okay, we want to have this survey, they will participate because they know you are listening and you're not just taking them for granted. So how do you develop your credit? How do you ace your first 90 days in office? Develop your credibility early. Your appearance. Come on. I like it when you dress the way you want to be addressed. Be professional at all times. Communicate well. You don't need Awana, Ghana, any of the accents. You don't need it. Speak as such that people understand when you speak. Mean what you say and say what you mean. When you tell them, people should not worry, I'll get back to you next week. Let your next week be next week. And then do not ruffle feathers. You have already started. You're already telling the finance person, let me tell you, I don't know what people are doing here, but where I'm coming from, HR is the one in charge of payroll. Hey, you're already ruffling feathers. Sometimes you see something, and they said there was an HR person that was here before. We're already speaking ill about the last person. No, you don't do that. You do your own. Because what goes around comes around. If you badmouth someone today, you leave. Your work will never be enough for the next person coming on board. Understand the business. Know how the business make money. Understand the business financials, the products and the services, and know who your competitors are, so that you are speaking the language that the business owner wants to understand. You are having a meeting. You are contributing. Your contribution is making sense. Analyze the current HR structure, carry out a case analysis. What do you want to keep doing? What do you want to improve upon? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to stop doing? Right? Plan a schedule and stick to it. If you say, okay, I'm going to do this one by next week, let your next week be next week. Write it down and stick to it. Then focus on your quick wins. The quick wins with high impact based on the schedule. Always have a schedule and stick to your schedule. That's the only way it can help you. If not, you end up spending 6 months and they're asking, we don't even know what she has done. We don't even know. We don't know. They said we have a new HR person. Me, I don't know. I used to see her carrying file all over the places. I don't know. Maybe, that one. The only thing she knows how to do is to catch late comer. Your impact is not being felt because you have not compartmentalized what needs to be in the setup and the post. And some of the things based on the pain points of the organization, based on the conversations you have had. You have not conducted any survey within the first 3 months. And again, do not be scared. Do not be afraid to request for help. Do not be scared to get a mentor. And do not go and start tormenting your mentor. And do not let your mentor be also your tormentor. So it's either ways. So when starting the HR departments, when starting at the bottom, be willing to learn from those at the top. You know what is good about learning from those at the top? They have received glasgows several times. They have gotten their fingers burnt several times. They have received queries several times. And then when they are sharing with you that, this is not how you should go about it. So this thing is not rocket science. Do not try. What you should do is be in the moment, be in your job, internalize your job, tell yourself, own it. Forget about what the others are doing and do not be scared. Some people, their hearts are already beating. I'm not so good at this. You are good at it. You are the meaning is what you attach to it. If you believe in your mind that you're not good at it, it will be very difficult for you to snap out of it. What exactly are you not good at? Where exactly? Because it is when everything is vague, you don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know how to go about it. I don't know. In fact, I hope I'm not making a mistake. Imposter syndrome. Hey God, have I not beaten? I hope I'm not beating more than I can chew because I don't understand. A lot of things is not falling. Hey, calm down. Calm down. What exactly? Where exactly is your pain points? Have you broken down all these things into bit sizes? And say, okay, this is what is. You can't just take a bowl of, you can't just take a bowl of semo or a bowl of amala or a bowl of eba and just open your mouth, wow, just throw it there like that. No, you do what? You cut, break them down into bit sizes. Which one will I be able to do now? You don't join a place and be telling them immediately, oh, we need to have an HRI system in place. Where I was coming from, it was Microsoft Navision alone. All your revenue for 1 quarter, or the revenue for a year cannot even afford it. And you are asking them to do that. So do not do copy and paste. Be willing to learn. Put your ears down. And then you find in some organization, in some places, right? You find some people who are they are people of influence. They do not have managers attached to their names, but when they speak, people are listening. They are called people of influence. Parley with them. Do not forget the survey and the insight you generate from those survey. But the major thing is the conversation you have with the staff and the conversation you have with your line manager. Because that is all. You need direction. And then all these small things can start falling into place. You are talking about policies. If you know you're overwhelmed and drafting the policies, the whole of last week I drafted policies, tell yourself, I will spend this amount of time on this. I'll spend this amount of time on this. Do not spend the whole of the week doing only one task. If not, you spend the whole of the 6 months and you cannot show anything for it. Everything is so small thing. Everything is chaotic. And next thing you say, in fact, I want to leave this place. Stella, please help me look for a job. Because everything will be chaotic. You have your hands, jack of all trade, master of none. You have not been able to actualize anything. But you are doing a lot. You are tired. In fact, you look older. And you have even lost your sleeves. When you just join the organization, you're looking all nice, lovely, rosy. And then when someone see you down the line, what's happened to you? Man, the stress in this place is too much. The stress is too much. These people, they want to collect blood on top of the small change they are paying. Come on. If you know, there are some organizations that actually, they serve you, their breakfast is stress, lunch is stress, dinner is stress. When you're sleeping is stress, we are waking up is stress. If you know you cannot cope, start, planning your exits. Or you come back and have a conversation with your line manager on a new timeline for delivery. Right? So, with this, we come to the end of today's topic. And at the end, there is always a case analysis. Though I did share the case analysis, then I did share the case analysis in one of the slides. What do you hope to start doing? What do you hope to keep doing? What do you want to improve upon? What do you hope to stop doing? And what do you hope to start doing? If you are here on the call, when you joined the HR department, there were some things that you had not put in place, and you have taken 1 or 2 things you want to go and put in place. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to do what? To start. So thank you, everyone. I remain Stella Obialor. Feel free to follow me on my social media platform. Okay? And this topic is very, very dear to my heart. This topic, it's from way back. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Michael Ogu and Kabod. They were the one that asked me to speak on this topic in 2020. Was it 2020 or 2019? And then thereafter, I spoke on this topic during the CIPM conference for Lagos State. And I was not able to write this book, HR Bootstrapping, Setting Up the HR Department from Scratch. So it's what started like, so the testimonial I have here is when they asked me to come and deliver the topic, someone discouraged me. Can't they give you more strategic topic? What is setting up HR department from scratch? But when I finished it, or that the people like these are our pain points. We're really struggling with it. Thank you very much. And that means people wanted it. And I got inspired. That was where I got inspiration from to write my book. I wrote it in 2021. 2022, I wrote the revised edition. So I want to appreciate everyone. Hope you're able to get one or two things, despite the network in and out. Hope you're able to get at least something, at least one thing, right? You're taking back one thing from today's session. So do we have any questions? The question time is always what I enjoy the most. So please still stay back. If you're still on the call, some people are going to be asking some questions that are going to unearth some of the things that we did not even, there are some things that we didn't touch. You can't touch everything in one day. You understand? Let me see. Limited resources. When he said talk about limited resources, well, with limited resources, it's understandable. The company, I remember I said, know the life cycle of your business. There are some departments. I have a colleague of mine. There are about 20-something persons in his HR department. It's a full company. You understand? But mine is not like that. So what works for him might not work for me. They have a very large workforce. You understand? So if you are struggling, request for virtual assistance. There are some people that can help you virtually. There are some people, even talking about the policies, instead of spending so much time drafting those policies, draft one and give it to them. Give it to the person to draft the rest for you. The person will take that burden, that stress off you. If you want to develop a competency framework, have one and have the person come up with the rest for you. There are some things that people can actually take off you so that you focus on more strategic things, so that you are ticking your boxes. Okay, I've said I was going to do this within 1 month. I said I was going to do this within 3 weeks. I said I was going to do this within 2 months, 3 months. And that is how you ace your first 30, 60, 90 days in office. Do not go and do copy and paste. Do not ask for templates. Look at what you have in front of you. Break it down into, smaller pieces. And then you will come up with your own 30, 60 days, 30, 60, and 90 days in office. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you, but not to confuse you on setting up the HR department from scratch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Please, I have a question.
Please shoot. I'm all ears.
Good evening, Ma. Thank you so much. My name is Monica. I didn't transition from anywhere. I didn't normally people become officers. I don't know the stages of HR. I just got a job and I was just automatically made a manager. And if you are clapping,
I'm clapping because I've been in your position before. Continue.
It's really, in fact, I just finished treating typhoid and malaria. I just resumed the role. Everything is weighing me down. Like, I'm just here and there. Everybody wants me to do everything for them, even something they're supposed to do by themselves. They just pour everything on me, and it's really overwhelming. I just need a word of advice from you on how to go about it. But I personally, what I'm really disturbed about what I'm actually disturbed about is I wanted an opportunity to be able to grow, like under someone, just grow in the career. But this is me finding myself being the head. And I basically know nothing. That's why I don't joke with your classes. Even if I miss, I'm gonna get a recording and I jot things down as if I'm in school. that's why I just need a word of advice from you on how to go about it, because I'm new and I just got the managerial position. So I just need a word of advice from you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Monica, for sharing with us, and congratulations on your role. I'd say you registered with the HR Primary with Stella, and that is what we do. You are on the right track. Though the cohort just started, you are on the right track. Now, you attended this particular session. I'm sure you have been able to grab a thing or two. You are also on the right track. One thing I want to let you know is this. When I joined the when I became a manager, I didn't have the experience. Why do you think I wrote the book? If you go and check the history, I was at the point, 1 minute, I was the only time I think I served in a particular organization in their HR department. That was the only experience I had. Service. And the only thing we did was recruitment for management training from beginning of the year to the end. I didn't even learn anything. And then I went to work somewhere. I went to work in airport as a passenger service supervisor for like 3 years. And the next minutes, I was head HR and admin. I didn't know my left from my right. I didn't know what I was supposed to do first and what I was supposed to do next. I had to reach out to my line manager back when I was a copper. And I told her that I just got a job. And she exclaimed when she heard of the title, like shocked. Hey, how would you cope? My darlings, I coped. Because you are in a space where so many HR professionals are dreaming. They are dying to be. There are so many persons, they have been HR officers for like 10 years. They are looking for that opportunity. You got it on a platter of gold. It's not the end of the world. It's because I'm sure, haven't listened to today's class. I'm sure if you decide to do some of these things, it's never too late to start so that you are not overwhelmed. We don't want you to treat malaria and typhoid every quarter. You do not need it. So go back. So my word of advice to you, I will keep on saying this. It's not what you don't have. It's what you have. You do not know how to make good use of. Now, you have already joined my mentorship program. You have started. When it's time for you to book your one-on-one, ensure you have booked a one-on-one. And always come forward with your pain point. Do not keep quiet about it. The areas you are struggling, look at along the HR value chain where you are struggling. And it's a good thing that even when you are not in class, you are always going back to request for the recordings. You understand? So please, the only advice I'll have for you is that morale, give yourself, motivate yourself. If Stella can do it, you can do it. If Owolabi can do it, who am I? I will do it. If Chinwe can do it, I can do it. Funke can do it, I will do it. Tell yourself this is possible. Because if you start having that fear that, hey, how am I going to do it? I want to learn. I want to learn. Yes, you are currently learning. The fact that you are a member of the AEHRP, well, I don't know if you have joined. I've said everyone on the HR Primary with Stella will go and join AEHRP. We are a group of shameless learners. You learn on the go. There is never a time you attend a session and your life remains the same. So you're on the right track. So gather all this. Don't keep on amassing information. What are you doing with what you have? Now, I've told you to compartmentalize everything. What are you doing right now? Just have a case analysis. Go and have an internal audit on yourself, your role. If you do not have a direction yet, everybody can be dumping everything on you if you have had a one-on-one. Now, I'm assuming that you have not had that. It's never too late to start. But you just you have to be very fast about it. Because there are some things you ought to do from your first week, second week, and the first 1 month. And if you start doing it, it's seeming like you start doing it 6 months down the line, they're like, oh, like, seriously? It's like it's almost obsolete. No. It's never too late. When you sit down, if you are faced with setback or you are falling down, get up and move. Do not stay back. Tell yourself, it's when I wake up, I look out, that is my good morning. So don't use any other person's compass. Don't use any other person's wristwatch. It's when you wake up in the morning, that's a good morning. That's when you start. Start now. Remember the KISS analysis we said, when do you want to start? If you want to start today. Look at what you have. Look at everything all the things I've said today. The setup and the post. Where are you right now? And the type of organization. Know the life cycle of the organization is so that to know what to propose. Have you had a one-on-one with your line manager? If you have not had, have a sitting with him or her. I'm a bit overwhelmed, but I need to know the direction so that I know how to serve you better. I want to know how to serve you better. This conversation, I also have had this conversation with you last week or 2 weeks ago when I joined. But there's been a lot happening. It's never too late to start. Have that conversation. For those other people that are dumping everything with you, please have a structure. Send out the circular. I'll meet with you today, meet with you tomorrow. Understand their pain points. Just so that, not just like me, there were so many papers. I look at the invoices, different things. They want me to start signing. They want me to sign away my life. Small me that I've just joined organization. And there are a lot of people, they just want me to keep on signing. I've not even balanced very well on the seats. And they are giving me something to sign. Hello? So, Monica, you're on the right track. I just need you to calm down. If you are too scared, you will miss the goalpost. If you are too scared, if you are too agitated, you will miss the goalpost. So what you do, tell yourself, I can do it. If this person can do it, I can do it. There are so many people that in fact, they are already like, Monica, where you are, that's my prayer points. I want to be like you when I grow up. You understand? So, thank you very much, Monica. And again, before I forget, yes, Michael, your hand is raised up. Go and register with CIPM. Go and register with CIPM. You need to register with CIPM, please. Go and start. Yes, you have to go through it doesn't matter if you're currently a HR manager. Go and start. Write the exams. In writing the exams, you are learning the rules. Register with CIPM. When you join organization, when you join WhatsApp platforms, if they're having knowledge sharing sessions, have something for yourself. Okay? So, Michael, you have the floor. Thank you very much. Bye,
Yes, good evening, everyone. I wanted to say a few things just to add my voice to what you've told Monica. But before I do that, let me first start by appreciating you for a job well done. I remember the first session you took in 2019, then in 2020, then you took it at the CIPM conference. And I remember you confided in me that someone almost discouraged you from taking that initial session in 2019. But see how that initial session has blossomed into so many things and to your book. So thank you so much. Tonight's session, I wasn't expecting anything less. It has been eye-opening. So to everyone, this is a charge to everyone on the call. Make sure you go and watch the recording on YouTube. Get the certificate, because when you pay for the certificate, you will get the slides from this session. Now, to Monica, let me encourage you. The phase you are in, you need grit, you need resilience, you need tenacity. But much more importantly, you need to get a mentor who can handhold you, who has been where you are. All right? And I often say to people, your first 90 days, like Stella said, are not days to rock boats, are not days to prove that you know better than the previous person, or that you just want to start changing things. The template for your first 90 days is broken down into 3 activities. There are 3 broad activities in your first 90 days. They are the learning activities, they are the doing activities, and they are the being activities, B-E-I-N-G. There are things you must learn in your first 90 days. There is who you must become. Like Stella said, you must become credible. You must become trustworthy. You must become someone that people can open up to. And then there are things you must do. I teach this a lot. When you break your first 90 days into learning, being, and doing activities, you cannot go wrong, Monica. But much more importantly, find a mentor who has walked the path you are treading, and then he or she will guide you through that process. Lastly, you must always believe in yourself. A lot of people, not because they don't have competence or capabilities, they fail for two reasons. Stella alluded to one, the imposter syndrome. Secondly, because they do not believe in themselves. And this is manifested in a lack of self-esteem and self-confidence. Everyone on the call, you must be intentional about your career. You cannot leave things to chance. The moment you say to yourself, you are intentional, you will always move forward. Those are the additional things I like to say. Stella, once again, God bless you. Thank you so much for that presentation. And we look forward to another time when we have this, maybe at KSS 7.0, where we have a physical session and then people can interact and ask questions. Thank you so much, Stella.
Thank you so much, my Presido. And see, are you already in Abuja?
Good evening.
I'll be in Abuja on Monday by the grace of God.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good evening, Mr. Abudu.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just say I should, as a shameless learner, I just choose to let me just listen to you, and it has been quite worth the time. And I just want to say this: the only thing I can tell anybody who wants to be, I always tell people that an expert driver was once a learner.
Yes, sir.
Nobody will become expert driver overnight. And it's all about being very deliberate about it and believing in yourself. And you can achieve anything you believe you can achieve. Your limit is what you set for yourself. So if you don't set a limit for yourself, you can go as far as anybody can go, or even beyond. So the only thing I can say is that as somebody is coming in to set up an HR platform or a department, you listen more to people and you ask critical and relevant questions, so that those are the things that will be your compass in doing whatever you are doing. Because you cannot manage what you don't know. So you must know something before you begin to manage it. Rather, you will damage it. Jokingly, I tell people that some people are not managers, they are damagers, because they do not know what they are managing. The starting point is for you to know what you are managing. That's one. Two, I actually believe that as a person, you must have a kind of guide for yourself, set standards for yourself, what to be done. So it's not for somebody to begin to measure you. Measure yourself, time of your progress. And if there's a need for you, and you can't have everything. If there's anybody who is having something you need, go to that person and get to that person. So that's the whole thing I just want to add. That look, whatever it is, whether it is new or whatever it is, and whatnot, you can go through it, and don't always want to achieve perfection. You just do the best you can. Excellence is not a target; it's a moving target. What is excellent today will not be excellent tomorrow. So you must, whenever there's not a perfect job that you cannot. There's nothing like that. Just do the best you can, and believe that tomorrow. Another thing I want to say here is that every HR person is a pocket lawyer. What I mean by that is that you must develop the act of writing in a way that they know that this is being written by somebody that has knowledge. So, and you must look at everything critically before you put it down.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That is Mr. Hafiz Abudu. He's a fellow of our Noble Institutes. the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We are humbled that you're able to join our call, and we are humbled, and we thank you for those nuggets. When you are listening to the words from the elders, you will just start pinning them, pin it somewhere, pin it somewhere. That is it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, the moderator.
Thank you so much, Madam Stella. Thank you, Dr. Emo, for adding the nuggets, and our fellow, our senior, our elder, Mr. Aziz. I mean, that was spot on. Thank you so much, Madam Stella. I'd just like to add that you exude so much vim, and I mean, tonight's section was sort of insightful. I like to read a comment here as a way of, letting you understand the impact of what you've done, tonight. This comment is by Tomi Lara. It says, "This is the most inspiring and insightful section I have attended since I joined AEHRP. Thank you so much, Mrs. Stella. The class is engaging. The class was engaging. You hit everything topic on the edge. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We sincerely appreciate you for spending your time here with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to your attention that the link to the HR bootstrapping book has been shared on the comment section. Please do well to click the link to access the book. And then if you also would like to request for the certificate and all, the link is also being shared on the comment section. Please do well to click on the link and download, re-listen to the section. Again, yeah, it was recorded live. You can also find it on the YouTube page, just to learn these things again, because there's no too much knowledge, right? I mean, there's no too much information, as it were, so you can always revert to the recordings to binge on this section. Thank you so much, Madam Stella. I'd just like to make a quick announcement before I call on one of our seniors to do the vote of thanks. Again, we had mentioned earlier that the Association of Elite Human Resource Professional is a community of shameless learners. Every weekend we get to learn daily. Every weekend we get to learn insightful conversation, insightful topics that will help you enrich your career journey as an HR professional. And then during the week, we also engage in other learning activities. On Wednesdays, on Thursdays rather, we usually have the Orbite Spotlight on the WhatsApp platform, and then on Fridays we also have the Orbite Phone Corner. I mean, these are also interesting activities that you like to participate in. And for our next learning schedule, ladies and gentlemen, the next Ask the Expert section will be happening on the 19th of October. And we'll be discussing a very interesting conversation, which is around cybersecurity and data protection, imperative for business sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss this section. Okay, there are other programs we have for the month, and the please omit your device if you're not seeing anything, so that you don't have any problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on Oluwatoyin Akapo to do the vote of thanks. If you're on this call, man, please do the honors.